UTALK family, what go on? What go on? This your boy D with another live show with UTALK. And y'all know how we start off every show. It ain't no me. Without you, baby. Kane Nation, what's going on? What's going on? I'm going to bring my boy here in a minute, man. Mr. Larry Frank Jr. is back, man. I want y'all to give him a warm welcome when he come in, too. Larry Frank Jr. is back in the building. But before we get started, man, you know, on UTALK, man, I like to acknowledge, young men's, man, with their accomplishments, man. And I want you to see this shirt that I'm wearing tonight. And this young gentleman by the name of Mr. Rashard Whitehead. Rashard is a freshman at Liberty University. He is a 6'3", 267-pound defensive tackle from Atlanta, Georgia. And Rashard graduated from Best Academy on the west side of Atlanta. Rashard is now majoring in sports management. Rashard graduated in 2020 from Best Academy and was the salutatorian of his class. Rashard is an outstanding young man. I ask that you support him, and you can go to myplayerlocker.com and just type in his name, Rashard Whitehead. And I also want to give a shout out to his father, Mr. Robert Whitehead, who's raised two great sons. So salute to both of them, man, and keep up the good work, Rashard, man. We're going to be supporting you, man. UTALK supports everybody, man, especially young men that's doing great things. So salute to your brother, man. Keep up the good work. So I'm going to bring my boy Larry Frank Jr. in here now, man, and we finna get it cracking, man. Larry Frank Jr., what's going on, buddy? What's going on?
What's happening? What's happening? Good evening. How y'all doing?
Man, listen, bro. UTALK, it's time. Quella, what's up? What's up, Quella? I see you, girl. Cuban Kane already in here talking noise, and it's time. We finna get into it tonight, y'all. So let's get started, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
It's UTALK, baby.
Larry Frank.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about it. Bennett Barrett, Rashard Whitehead, what it do? I see you, baby. Keep up the good work, boy. Let's talk about it, man. Miami versus Alabama. It's time. We've been quiet all week. All weekend, we've been quiet, bro. Let's go.
I'm going to go ahead on and reel off the stats. Just the final stats. King, 22 of 30, 179 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He also had a fumble. In the running game, Cam, 12 carries, 37 yards. Chaney, 7 carries, 23 yards. Even from the quarterback perspective, TVD had more rushing yards, 3 for 17. King, 9 rushes for 10 yards. Receptions, X, Restrepo, 3 receptions, 55 yards with the score. Smith, 4 receptions, 40 yards. Rambo, 7 receptions, 34 yards. Harley, 3 receptions, 23 yards. And probably the most just devastating receiving fact here, Mallory, 2 catches, 12 yards. Time of possession, Bama controlled the clock. 37 minutes, 2 seconds. Basically say 37 minutes to Miami's 23. Total yards, Bama, 500 yards, 501 yards given up by Miami's defense. Of those 501 yards, 354 yards in the air, 147 yards on the ground, 1 turnover. Miami, 266 total offensive yards. That is a shame. Of that, as we said earlier, De'Aaron King, 179 yards passing, and with everybody that we named, a combined 87 yards rushing.
Wow.
3 turnovers. Kane family, that's horrible. That's horrible. The topic of tonight is, can Mr. Rhett Lashley, well, we ain't gonna even ask if he can cut the check. He didn't. he ain't put no money in his account. I mean, it just horrible. from what I saw, because I was in and out of the game, obviously, with everything going back home, just trying to stream the game and everything. First series kind of told it all, in my opinion. First offensive series, I should say. Second, you get 2 plays, you get to 3rd and 7, and on 3rd and 7, after, King was 2 for 2, but on 3rd and 7, you run against this front 7 of Alabama on 3rd and 7. When I saw that, I'm like, this team is defeated already.
Right.
Lashley obviously was intimidated, or he just didn't trust his offense.
Mm-hmm.
Because how can you on 3rd and 7? You don't run on 3rd and 7 against Alabama. You really don't run on anybody. 3rd and 7. I mean, that's where you swing something to the tight end or maybe go to the slot. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, he's defeated. He's defeated already.
Yep.
And then on the opposite side of the ball, tackling, non-existent. Guys were arm tackling. The running backs of Alabama running through arm tackles, receivers breaking tackles. The fundamentals were just not there, and we said going into this thing, it was a total team effort as far as dropping the ball and losing, because even the offensive line, they were getting dominated at the line of scrimmage. They gave up 4 sacks. At the end of the day, you had 8 months, you had a full spring, and the last show that we did together, we all said it. The offensive line needed to put their big boy pants on and represent. They did not do that. But forget about a game plan. It looks like the coaching staff abandoned fundamentals. Like, what were you guys doing for 8 months? I'm at a loss for words, D. I don't really know where else to go with this.
Man, it ain't nowhere else to go but what you said, man. Like I said, we talked about this before the season even started. I was on Coach Hayes' show last Thursday, and I told Coach Hayes, if we couldn't run the ball, we was going to be in trouble. I said that. My thing is, I got the same question that you got. What in the hell were we doing over the spring and the summer for them to come out and put a product like this on the field on Saturday and not even compete? Listen, what did I tell you? I don't care if we don't win the game. I wasn't expecting for us to win the game, Larry Frank. I just wanted us to come out and compete. So you telling me that Bama was 31 points better than what we were? 31 points better than what we were. Rhett Lashley, how do you come into that building and you take the energy out of the building like you did with the conservative play calling that you were doing? Conservative play calling. Yes. Bama dared us to throw the ball, and he wouldn't even push the ball down the field. How? Oh, I don't understand. It's like, come on, man. Rhett cut the check. Rhett bounced the check. He did. It was terrible. And I seen him in the interviews making excuses. It's one thing T. Rod said. He took responsibility and he was holding himself accountable for the laps and tackles in the defensive secondary. Rhett Lashley, Manny Diaz, same old thing. Excuses. How did you not have these guys prepared? Here it is, Alabama's first and second year players flash on tape, game changers. We got 3 and 4 and 5 year players that don't even show up.
Yes.
Ford. Pope ain't even on the depth chart no more. King should have been doing what Bryce did. It's up to Rhett Lashley to put him in a position to succeed, just like Nick did with Bryce.
Yeah.
How do we look that stagnant on offense? And you had the whole spring and the whole summer to prepare for this game. Rhett Lashley, you done been at Auburn. You done seen Alabama before, 4 or 5 years. You know what Alabama like to do, and this is the game plan you came with? That's terrible. Garbage. Garbage, Larry Frank.
I agree, D. And if you look at the approach, compare the approach of this game to the approach of the Clemson game, it was almost a carbon copy from a play calling standpoint. Vanilla play calling.
Yes.
I literally had Dan Eno's 2019 vibes looking at this offense.
Yes.
This is why you hired Lashley, so that you would not have an offensive output, because we already saw this kind of an offensive output and this offensive approach back in 2019. It's just, you know, I'll credit T-Rob for taking blame and taking accountability for his unit. But once again, Manning, again, he does not take full responsibility. He goes on, and I think what disturbed me the most is, rather than taking full responsibility, he goes on to say, well, they beat Ohio State in the national championship by 30. Almost like you trying to get a moral victory because you didn't get beat as bad.
Right.
It's like, it's no excuse, Manny. I mean, yeah, Alabama's a big bad dog, but that don't mean just because they did it to everybody else. Somebody has to stop the trend.
Right.
Somebody has to show that, hey, you know what? It's just like any bully. Everybody been kids.
Right.
You've either been bullied or seen bullies.
Right.
Bullies are going to keep going until they finally meet somebody that's going to step up to them.
Right.
So who's it going to be, you know? And you know what makes me really upset? If you look at the other games this weekend, okay? Granted, it was the number one team in the country. We played the best team in the country. Tulane, as I told you in the pre-show,
right,
displaced by the hurricane, left New Orleans. They went to Oklahoma. They almost beat the number 2 team in the country. They competed. And they don't match up.
Right.
They competed. Florida State last night, we joke and clown them all the time. And even though Notre Dame is not on an Alabama level, they still went toe-to-toe.
Yes, they did.
With Notre Dame.
Yes, they did.
Forced it to overtime.
Yes, they did.
Minnesota, for most of that game against Ohio State, pushed them to the limit.
Yes.
Virginia Tech outright beat North Carolina.
Right.
I'm seeing a trend here. Because if I'm seeing where all these other schools, and at the end of the day, I'm a reference the Tulane game, because Miami has more athletes, better, no disrespect, but just keep it real. Miami has a better roster of talent than what Tulane has. And you can go into Norman, your plans change because of a hurricane, and push the number 2 team to the limit, and you telling me as Miami, you can't even compete and make this game. If we lose 44-30, I'm cool with that. If we lose 44-33, 35, 27, I'm cool with that. Why? We did what we had to do. They've got more depth, so obviously they're going to outlast us. But goodness, try. That's what we didn't do. How about this? And I'm not going to make excuses. It's not an excuse because, we shot ourselves in the foot. The refs was also, they had their part in it too. I counted 7 offensive holds, 7 on Bama's offensive line, including 1 in the end zone that should have been a safety. On that same series, a 94-yard touchdown pass that DJ Ivey got beat. We've seen this song and dance before with DJ Ivey. What gives? You saw targeting. I saw 2 defensive holds on our receivers Bama defenders were holding. Nothing called. One of them, you had a defensive holding and a targeting, not called. So like I said, I'm not making excuses because obviously we didn't step to the plate, but it don't help that the refs are kind of, giving them a sugarcoating what they do as well. So you had to take on Bama and to some degree the refs. So at the end of the day, what's next? Am I as confident going into Appalachian State? I think we win the game, but I'm not as confident as I was. Am I as confident about Michigan State? Not after what I saw. They are very much improved. And here's the sad part. This was your opportunity to send a message to the ACC. Why? Clemson lost. North Carolina lost. Your top three perceived contenders for the ACC crown lost. You could have sent a message by hanging with Alabama or competing with Alabama. She didn't even do that.
Right.
So at this point, you know, I go back to past shows. I remember, you know, and if he's in the chat, if he's watching, I'm sure he is. Cuban Kane, you get nothing but props because you are the man. You called it with Rhett Lashley. He didn't do it. Cuban, if you can call up, please call. I really want to hear. I want to hear what you got to say, man. Hey, man, I'm just at a loss of words right now.
Oh, and to answer your question, Cuban Kane, yeah, brother, you can call up whenever you're ready. Let me put it up on the screen, man. But again, the telephone number 404-462-0477. Again, not only was it the offense, it was the defense as well. Like I said, I watched Alabama take the opening drive down the field like we watched all last year and go down and score like it wasn't nothing. Poor tackling. I mean, you know I'm everywhere tonight. I want to stick with the offensive side of the ball first. They go Cuban Kane right now. Let me let him in.
All right.
It's UTALK. Caller, state your name and where you calling from. What's up, Cuban Kane? We know it's you, though.
You know who it is.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
You know who it is.
What's up, brother?
What's up, Cuban?
What's up, Larry Frank? What's up, Devin? So I look at the let's look at the Florida State game last night, right? The defense, Florida State defense was not that hot, right? But the offense did their job. The offense kept scoring, you know, pretty much kept them in the game. This is the problem I had with Rhett Lashley. And this is the problem I had with him last year. First of all, your offense might be a little bit too fast. You have the wrong personnel. You're playing Cam Harris when you need to be playing Don Chaney. Like, this is where I kind of blame Manny a little bit. Like, Manny, you need to stop playing some players. Ivy doesn't need it. Ivy should not be playing on this team. Cam Harris should not be playing on the team. Skate should not be playing on the team. 26, forgot about his name. Should not be playing
Hall, yes. Yes, Hall, yes.
Hall. If you look at what Alabama, I'm sorry I'm going all over the place. No. If you rewatch the game, Alabama attacked just one side. And what side was that? Wherever Ivy and Hall were at. Every touchdown was scored on Ivy, Hall, and on number 44, right? All the touchdowns. I'm like, man, you got to make this adjustment. You got to take these boys out. You got to say, hey, appreciate the time for being a Miami Hurricane, but you can't play for my squad anymore. You can't. You know, there's other players out there that are willing to do the job. You know, now going to our boy Rhett Lashley. Rhett, they were blitzing the right side the whole time. Everybody, the announcers were loving number 31 for Alabama. If you watch the game, he had to go from the left side to the right side because he couldn't do anything against Zion, right? So
no, I don't think so. I think he was killing both sides. That's what I saw.
No, he was not.
No, he was killing both. He was eating on both sides, Cuban Kane. He was eating on both sides, bro. I was at the game.
Devin,
he was eating on both sides.
Watch the game again, Devin. I watched the game all over again.
No.
For the first couple of drives, Buddy was lined up on the left side. Zion pants kicked him. Miami went on the rush. They spread up the offense. He sat on the right side. And he stayed on the right side for the rest of the game. I promise you. Look at the game again. It happens in the first. It's funny. He didn't do anything on the Zion side. He had to go to the other side, and that's when the game just pretty much went to hell.
He wasn't killing Zion like he was killing 51, but Allen was eating over on the other side too before he got hurt. The other defensive end.
I promise you, watch the game. Zion played a monster of a game. The only thing he could, the only thing Zion is weak at is the run game. Pass game, Zion didn't let anything happen on that side. I promise. I saw the game about 2 to 3 times, and I'm like, let me see if Zion's really, doing what he's supposed to be doing, and he wasn't. But football-wise, right? Sometimes your offense has to play defense. We both saw the Virginia Tech game against UNC, right? UNC's a high-paced offense. What did Virginia Tech do? They took their time. They milked that clock. They went down to the last second and they made sure that North Carolina had very limited opportunities on offense. if you know your defense is struggling, why the hell you rushing through the offense? Cut the check. You know, another problem have cut the check. You got this 5'2" quarterback on the 1 yard line. On the 1 yard line with a torn ACL, and you're gonna do a quarterback sneak. Like, come on, man. You had this beast running back that ran down to the 1 yard line, and you're gonna run with the court. This is my problem with Brett Lassie. He is not playing to the strength of his offense.
I agree.
Right? I don't know what he's doing out there. You know, it's pretty obvious. First down, we're going to dive cam in the second down. Then we're going to do some slant passes in the third round. You know, it's like, come on now. It's like, come on, Brett. We got to do something here. The defense, we all know the defense cannot hold up the whole game. You know what I'm saying? You need the offense to perform. Every time, like I told you, it was all three of us. I don't know if I can say the other person's name, but it was all three of us. And we got on to Devin. It was like, hey, Brett only called good games half the season. It wasn't the whole season. Sometimes it was the defense that showed up. Brett didn't show up every game. You know, and it's like, and that's my problem with Brett. It's like, yeah, he showed off against the weaker teams, but against the good teams, he really didn't do anything. And in today's college football, you got to put up points. When Florida played Alabama, they put up points. When Ole Miss played Alabama, they put up points. You got to put up points against Alabama. Alabama's not great.
Absolutely.
I don't think Alabama's a great team, to be honest. You know, they have the refs on their side. You know,
you can't blame the refs, man. Listen, man. This game was over with, man. When we went down 17 to nothing.
It was, but like you can't help out a juggernaut like that. Like it was a safe, you know. There was a safety then, you know, when they threw the ball, a buddy on the left side held the DN. You know what I'm saying? This is like there was two safeties that happened in that drive when they threw that ball. But to be honest, we should have never been in that situation.
Nope.
If Brett doesn't run a quarterback sneak with a 5'2" quarterback with a torn ACL.
5 yards back.
I agree with you. I agree.
And the thing that kind of scares me is I saw the game last night, and Florida State looked like they improved.
They did.
Right. And it's just their attitude, right?
Yep.
We still look lackadaisical. We still look like you know, it's like, oh, it's another football game. There's no spunk, there's no attitude, there's no aggressiveness. There's like it's just I don't know, it's just we look so damn soft.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. We just look soft. And I like Manny. I want Manny to be successful. People want Mario. I'm like, I don't want Mario. Mario barely beat Fresno State out west. Like, enough of this Mario stuff. You know, like, let's put on the real. You know, this program needs an attitude adjustment. It's not about the players, not about the coaches. The whole organization needs a attitude adjustment. Until then, it's always, you know, we might win 9 or 10 games this year, right? But it's now time to start playing against the big boys, right?
Right.
Manning and Brick, this is what, year 6 for all of them combined, I think. Like, it's time to step it up now. You know, yes, we were favored to win against Alabama, but like you said, Devin, when you first started, it's not about the win. It's about how we look. Right. We looked a little lackadaisical, like you said. What the hell are we doing in spring and summer? You know, it's like this looked like the same team that played against Oklahoma State. Right. You know, it's like it just wasn't there, and it's not like we are asking for a 80-point victory. We just wanted to see. Like, I think all the fans would have been happy with an effort, like Restrepo.
Thank you.
Effort,
right.
You know,
effort.
Williams, effort.
Right.
Cam Kitchens.
Yep. Effort.
That's all we ask for.
Yep.
You know, is effort. And there's just some dudes on the team. It's just like, you know, Cam Harris. He goes into the hole, and it's just like, all right, whatever. You know, it's just no. We got to, unfortunately, like, he needs to do what Jimmy Johnson did. It's like, hey, your scholarship is renewable at the end of the year.
Preach, well, say
and
it.
It's like,
come on.
You know, it's like,
come on, Cuba, say it.
And that's about it. You know, it's like, if you ain't cutting it, and it's like, this is America. I'm sorry. This is a capitalist. This is a capitalist society. You got to work for yourself. If you ain't working, the next man's gonna come here and take it.
Come on, right?
We're treating it, we're treating this like it's a, hey, we got to make everybody happy. No, man, it's, so like last point, like people are mad, like, oh, we're not recruiting South Florida. If South Florida players don't want to come to Miami, there's a whole bunch of players out in the nation that want to come to Miami. You got to get the people that want to be on your squad. Like, Larry Frank. There's a whole bunch of New Orleans boys, Louisiana boys that want to play for Miami, but we don't recruit them because
it's UTALK, baby.
Dade County in South Florida is not loyal to us. Go get the people that want to play for your damn squad. Stop playing this fairy tale. Stop being nice. It's just like Nick Saban ain't nice. Nick Saban ain't nice. So it's like you just gotta. So this next game is critical, but the next time I'm going to pay attention, like Larry Frank said, is Michigan State, UNC, and I don't know who else, but that was my opinion. I had to get on you a little bit, Devin.
No, bro. Hey, I told you yesterday he bounced the check. I totally agree with you, bro. Totally agree.
Yeah. It's Brett 3 and out. That's what I told you. Brett 3 and out. That's what I told you.
Cuban K. That's what we rolling with the rest of the year. Brett 3 and out.
Brett 3 and out.
Cuban, could I ask you a question right quick, Cuban? I want your opinion on something because I've been thinking about this, and me and D talk about this, and I just want to present this and see how you feel. In the grand scheme of things, as far as Rhett Lashley and his approach, and even if you go back to Dan Enos and his approach, if you look at the defensive side and everything, do you think the lack of aggression from the assistant coaches, the lack of enthusiasm, do you think that maybe they're holding back to an extent because of Manny, because he shows no passion?
Well, Manny was blitzing his ass off. I can't.
No, I mean like emotionally.
I don't know, man. I've seen Manny get – this is the first time in a long time I've seen Manny get kind of crazy on the sideline. Manny's being aggressive. I mean, I don't know if he's getting on his coaches like he's getting on his players. That's a whole different, story on its own, but I don't know how much aggressive Manny can get. He blitzed damn near every play.
No, he didn't blitz every play, Cuban. He didn't blitz damn near every play. No,
Not every play, but he blitzed a lot. He blitzed about 60% of the time.
This defense still looked the same when Blake Baker was there. So what's going on? It looks the same. It looks the same, bro. It looks the same. This is Manny's defense. They still bad tackling. We still looking at players taking bad angles, lining up in the wrong spot. I mean, this is the same thing I looked at with Blake Baker last year, Cuban Kane. And he ain't got a scapegoat this year. Because I tell you one thing, Cuban Kane. Let me say this real quick. Because T-Rob, we seen T-Rob coach at Florida, and we seen T-Rob at South Carolina. T-Rob don't play soft coverage like this, man. This is Manny's scheme. Right. This ain't T-Rob, man. I don't think that those guys have a say-so on the defense. I think Manny is a control freak. Why bring Bob Shoop in? And how? You brought all of these people in, and the defense still look the same. It still look the same.
Let me ask you this question, Devin. If Miami just does not play Alabama offensive line, how many sacks will we have this game?
Cuban Kane, we can. I don't even know.
We would have had about 10 sacks on Saturday.
I see. What about the three that they miss when they're coming through, man, and just blowing sights? I mean, just out of control, not being able to make the play. We seen all this last year.
But like I told you, Alabama did one thing. They attacked wherever Ivy, Hall, and number 44 was at. That's all they did. Wherever they were lined up, that's where they attacked.
Well, who fault is that? Tell him to get him off the field. That's Manny. He the head coach. We've been watching this. Get him off the field.
I'll give you that.
That's the head coach. They're not performing.
I agree with you. That's why I said take them boys off the field because they keep attacking those three people. That's it. Yeah. I don't even think it's Blake or anybody's defense. They look at number 8, they look at number 44 and 26. If you go from the North Carolina games up until North Carolina, Oklahoma State, and Alabama games, you're going to see those three in the all highlight reels. UNC bombed the hell out of Ivy. Alabama bombed the hell out of Ivy. Oklahoma State bombed the hell out of Ivy and Hall.
Absolutely.
That's all they're going to. Those three, and it's like you said, Devin. This is where Manning has to make an adjustment. The all three boys go transfer, go hit the bench because you're just not cutting it. You're not fitting the scheme. Whatever the scheme is, you're not fitting it. It's like y'all got to go. But going back to what you said, Larry Frank, I don't know if this is where the whole confusion about Manning being a defensive coordinator. It's like you might have to give it up and hire Bob Shoot, and you have to get on Rhett Lashlee. You got to tell Rhett Lashlee, like, hey, you can't run my 5'2" quarterback on the 4th-yard line. You know, it's like that's where Manning is kind of lacking. And I do see what you say, Larry Frank. It's like I don't think he's getting on the coaches. He gets on the players. He puts the blame on the players, but he doesn't put the blame on the coaches. He never says, we did a bad coaching job. You know, he just says, like you said, Ohio State lost to them by 30-some points or whatever, so on and so forth.
Right.
But the only thing is I cannot overreact over one game. Hopefully we have like a Texas A&M type of season and just run the gamut, you know.
And at this point, I think that's what you got to hope for. You know, look, it was Alabama. I mean, everybody put a lot of stock in Alabama. Everybody was like, look, we knew we couldn't win the game. I think we were just at a point where we were hoping we could win the game, but we knew we wouldn't. We just wanted to I think everybody's just upset because of how bad we looked, how lethargic we looked, how
fundamentally unsound we were.
How fundamentally unsound we were. That's why everybody is angry, and the fact that it resulted in only, 13 points or whatever. And it's like, I think everybody's just angry because why did everybody come back? You got the whole team minus Jalen and Quincy. Everybody else came back. They didn't come back for us. And it's just a disservice to them as players. And it's like this, man. I'm going to tell you something. They got to dominate App State on Saturday, because if they don't dominate App State, even if they win this game by 7 points or less, 10 points or less, it's going to get worse because you're playing down to your competition. We've seen this too much before.
Cuban Kane, I'm going to let you get out of here, brother. I'm going to take some more phone calls.
One thing. That's an interesting thing you said right now, Larry Frank. You play down to your competition, but you play up to your competition.
Exactly. Great point.
That's the problem.
Great point. Yep. Yes, sir.
That's the problem. But I appreciate y'all, boys. Hey, that's an ugly hat you got on, by the way, Larry Frank.
Hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, it's week one, man. I had to represent. I got to represent, man. I love my cane. I love wearing my U hat, but I had to give it a rest this week after what happened Saturday. I said, let me rock the black and gold right quick.
Cuban Kane, man. Keep it up, man. You too, man. Hold it down, man. Love you, brother.
All right. Take it easy, Cuban.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
It's UTALK, baby.
Hey, listen here, man. Hey, let's get in this chat, man. OHQ80 said the lack of passion and fight is what was surprising. That's what I say too, man. OHQ, man. I mean, again, like we said, I wasn't expecting to win the game. I just wanted to see them compete. That's my only thing, man. Danielle Carroll, cuz what it do? Zone defense. Still soft zone defense, man. Exactly, man. And again, it goes back, man, to what we were saying, Frank. I mean, I just don't think that he's involving the coaches, man. I've seen T-Rod coach at Florida and South Carolina, just like you. This is not how T-Rod uses his defensive backs. You know, like I know. Step back and let these coaches coach, man.
The way they did.
Yeah. Step back and let these coaches coach, man.
Yeah.
Quella, what you say, Quella? They need an old school coach that they had from the early 2000s, back when they was winning championships. You know, I'm on Butch. I've been on Butch. But, Larry Frank told me, man, Butch too old. You know what I'm saying? But if Butch can give me a quick fix, right now, man, versus having to sit here and recruit talent and it's not being coached up, then I just take the quick fix for the time being, because right now what we seeing is terrible, Larry Frank.
I tell you what, just real quick, and I don't want to get into the potential coaching thing because we don't know how Manny's future holds, but just hypothetically speaking, there are three guys that I got my eye on if this would happen. The first one is Willie Fritz of Tulane. I'm not just saying that because of what happened Saturday with Oklahoma, but Willie Fritz, that offense has really been not really a juggernaut, but they scored 30, 35 points a game the last couple of seasons. They can put up points. He's a good one. Billy Napier, UL Lafayette, Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns. Listen, UL Lafayette was the best team in Louisiana last year. Yes, LSU. They'll tell you, Louisiana Lafayette was the best one. This is not a popular one, but if this opportunity would present itself, I wouldn't be upset, and that would be Matt Rule. Now, I know he's at Carolina. He's going into his second year of coaching, but we all know the NFL, if you don't do nothing as a coach within 3 years, they normally get rid of you. The timing of his departure, if it would happen, would be probably in another 2 years, which coincidentally could be the timing of Manny's departure if it happens. If you remember what he did at Baylor, I just want to see consistency with this offense, because it really hurts me to see teams like Baylor, teams like Oregon. Listen, I'll even go with Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze was another one.
I'll give you one. How about Mike Locksley from Maryland? I mean, that's one of me and Coach Hayes, man, guys that we was talking about, man. I mean, you got somebody that's firm. You know what I'm saying? Yes. He can recruit. He's doing a pretty good job at recruiting out there in Maryland. I mean, what do you think about that?
And guess who's his offensive coordinator?
Who that, Enos?
Enos. And look at what they did the other day against West Virginia.
Right, exactly.
They put up points.
Hell, I even like Marcus Freeman, man, the DC with Notre Dame. Now, I think that he don't have a lot of talent on the defense this year, man, but I like Marcus Freeman. I mean, I'm just sorry, man. Man is incompetent to me, man.
LSU wanted him, but he bypassed LSU to go to Notre Dame.
Yeah, man.
LSU went with Durante Jones from the Vikings coaching staff, Minnesota Vikings coaching staff. But you got some guys out there, and like I said, you got guys. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't think it could happen, but PJ Fleck. You see what he's doing at Minnesota right now. He had a good year last year. He had a good showing against Ohio State the other night. I wouldn't be angry if they approached him. The Iowa State coach, same thing with them, man. They had a pretty good season last year. Ironically, they lost to Louisiana Lafayette and Billy Napier in that opening game last year. So, like I said, but once again, Iowa State looking kind of solid. You got options. It's all on what are you bringing to the table. But that's hypothetical. That's another show. I don't want to open a can of worms. But if it ever gets to that, those are some of the guys that I'm looking, would hope they consider.
For sure. And shout out to Coach Hayes, man, because he the one that got me on the Mike Locksley over there in Maryland, man. He had me to take a second look at him. And, I mean, anything right now, man. Manny is a defensive coordinator at best. I'm sorry, man. Manny is incompetent, man. We seeing the same thing over and over and over, man. We seeing guys that are not being coached up. And I'm just not a fan. I'm sorry, man. And I know it's one game, but, again, we've had the whole spring and summer to come out and look like this, man, and we're seeing the same thing over and over again. Like you said, Larry Frank, nobody expected to come out and beat Alabama, but damn, you can't come out and get blowed by 31. That's unacceptable. No, that's unacceptable.
And you know something else, not to cut you off, but if you also look at the manner in which the quick scores to start the games. How many games do Miami come out on the first defensive series and the other team just marches down the field and gets 7 on them?
Straight down the field.
Straight down the field, like put up a fight or whatever. And it's like they get in this hole. They get in this early hole, and they got to dig themselves out of this hole. Oklahoma State jumped on them 21-0. Clemson jumped on them. North Carolina jumped on them. Alabama jumped on them. And it's either you get in a hole or you can't stop the opposing team, and now you're in a track meet going series for series trying to keep up with them. So defensively, you're the defensive coordinator, and yeah, Blake was your scapegoat last year, but you were the defensive coordinator.
That's
now,
right.
Something's got to give. I mean, after game one, and like I said, I'm going to hold it just for game one right now, but after game one, same old song and dance that we saw last year.
Totally agree. Benny Bear, everyone need to wear white T-shirts. They don't deserve to put on a Miami Hurricanes jersey. I totally agree with you, Benny Bear. And Cuban Kane is right, man. I think you playing these guys just because. I want to see Cam Kitchens get more burn. I want to see James Williams get more burn. I thought Corey Flagg, I thought he played a decent game, man. I mean, I mean, just come on, man. Like these offensive linemen look like they were on roller skates, man, going back, man. I mean, I thought that Justice number 70, when they put him in for 51, I thought that he held his own. I mean, he got beat like one time. I seen him get killed like, Anderson coming around the corner. But I thought that Justice held his own pretty well when they put him in the game. So I would like to see if they're going to start him, Saturday against Appalachian State, man. But we got to stop this, man. Even Cam, what's his name, number 33, the Williams kid. Is it Chance Williams?
Chance Williams, the defensive end.
He had the fumble when he got the sack.
He had the fumble.
I want to see him more than 53. I know everybody. I like 53, man. I think he's a good kid, man. But, I mean, it's clearly better talent that's behind him, man, that defensive end, man. We got to stop this, man. Play the best kid, man. I want to see some more of these kids, man.
The thing I think, the tone that I think you can take with that is, if you look at what happened with the wide receivers and you see the younger guys stepping up, try that approach with the rest of the team. Put the guys that want to play, the hungry young ones, give them a shot. You'll be pleasantly surprised. You're sticking with Ivy. You're sticking with Gervin Hall.
Right.
You're sticking with all these guys that have let you down year in and year out.
Right.
And and you know what? I hate to say it, but it's almost like these guys are taking for granted the situation, because it's like, well, look, man, he ain't going to sit me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because he's, Pope and Wiggins obviously got sat down and left off the depth chart because they were that bad, But it's one thing to be that bad and drop passes, and it's another thing to just underachieve,
right.
and just get beat. DJ Ivy, to me, is the equivalent of Pope and Wiggins on the defensive side of the ball, because he gets burnt too much.
Right.
We've seen this all, and he improved slightly last year. But when you get burnt for 94 yards like that, come on, man.
Right.
I'm just, like I say, man, it's something. They need to have a come to Jesus meeting with all of this, and they need to somebody needs to. Did you see Ed Reed put his head down on the sideline? Ed Reed was disgusted.
And then I seen a dude in the Facebook group, man, saying, how come Ed Reed is out over there trying to motivate the guys? Damn, man, how about motivating yourself? If you can't get up for a game like this, man, you the player. You can't get up, man, for a game like this. What the hell does Ed Reed got to do with trying to motivate you for a big game like this? I mean, are you serious? I mean, some of these fans are just groupies, man. They want to say stuff like, you ain't a true fan if you criticize the program. No, we ain't used to mediocrity. That's what it is. We don't like mediocrity. And so what you gonna say when Vince Wilfork just said today, like, it was terrible? So Vince Wilfork, he ain't a real Kane fan because he's criticizing the program. These players are tired of it. Some fans are tired of it. And for the ones that accept it, man, it's like, y'all crazy. Wake up. Wake up.
Let me tell you something, D. To those that say you're a fake fan, if you call out this is my answer. You're a fake fan if you accept mediocrity, because the you that we know was never mediocre.
Preach.
Real fans are going to call the BS as they see it.
Preach. And
we've seen the same old BS. We're going into year 3. And the most of us, hey, man, we call it, but we're trying to be optimistic.
Preach.
But if you're not showing no changes, if you're not showing where you've gotten better, and you're not developing players, and you're getting burnt, what are we going to do? Not say nothing because you don't want to be negative about what's happening? Reality is reality.
Hold on real quick, man. Not to cut you off. I want you to continue that point. Come on, George. I see you, man. George Diaz, my brother, man. I missed you on Saturday. I didn't get to see you at the game. Come on and call up, man. Whenever you're ready. I'm holding it for you. Let me put the number up if you don't forget it. I ain't heard from you in a while, bro. Come on and call up. Telephone number 404-462. There go George right there. It's UTALK. Call us. State your name and where you calling from. George, I know it's you. What up?
No, please, it's to Quilla.
Oh, this Tequila. Oh, I'm sorry. What's up, Tequila? What's going on, sweetness? How you doing? I bet George got a 305 number 2, man. Hey, George, hold on real quick. We're going to talk to Tequila real quick. What's up, Quilla? What it do? What's up, baby?
I'm chilling. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm great.
Talk to us, man. Give us some burn on your take about this game, man. What are your thoughts?
I feel like there's I like the Kings just as well as Alabama. You know, I grew up Alabama fan, but this game was sick. I didn't like it at all.
What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on Coach Manny Diaz, man? Do you think Manny Diaz is a head coach, or do you think Manny Diaz is the problem?
Yeah, I think the coaching staff alone is the problem.
What you got for that?
You say you didn't like it. You say you didn't like the game at all. What did you not? What did you mostly not like?
The coaching, the way they coach.
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
The way he coached and the way he played, it was disappointing.
I totally agree.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
It was very embarrassing. I sent Devin the tweet that Vince Wilfork sent, and I showed a couple other people, and other people thought he was talking about the players. I'm like, he's not talking about the players. He's talking about the coaches. It's the coaches behind what everything goes on. They play whatever he calls out. So if he calls out a bad play, they're gonna play a bad play, and it's gonna go from there.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right.
Absolutely.
They need structure. They don't have no structure, man. He's not a structured type of person.
He's not. He's a player's coach, and that's what I'm getting sick of, man. I mean, you know, he gotta take some accountability on what's going on, man, year in and year out. We're seeing the same thing over and over, Larry Frank. The same thing.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, when you're a player's coach, I mean, that's fine and dandy, you know, when you're winning, and when you got a scrub team that you're playing, like a Duke, and you could blow them out 48-0, you could be a player's coach because it seems like everything's going right. But when it's time for you to really step up to the competition, and now you actually have to make tough decisions, are you going to be a coach and coach this team to victory and put the right people in the right places to win? Or are you going to be a player's coach and play the guys that you're trying to be loyal to because you don't want to hurt their feelings and you want to keep happiness in the locker room, you know? Yeah.
I have watched like documentaries of Nick Saban and the way he coaches his team. And it's like, it's structured, it's discipline, and this and that. He reminds me of my parents. My parents are military, so he reminds me of a drill sergeant. But it's in a good way. And, you know, and he's been there for how many years? Yeah, they have one coach. No matter when they play, they have that one coach, and it's structure right there. Miami, see, I don't have that many coaches they don't have. So everything changes. So once they get used to one thing, they fire that coach, they got to learn something else.
I got a question for you. What are you looking to see, or what would you like to see out of this team going forward?
I think it'll start out with the organization. They'll start out with the organization. They need to change up everything with the organization. Change the coaches. And just, you know, do what they're supposed to do. They want to win and they want people to feel a different way towards Miami. You gotta start at the root of the problem. This is not the kids that's playing. It's the people behind them. It's these kids. It's the coaches behind them. Because if you're playing for a good coach, your results are going to show on the field.
Oh, that's
absolutely.
True. That's true. What you got for Larry Frank?
No. I mean, she hit the nail on the head. I mean, I like the fact that, you know, she highlighted how Nick Saban is. I mean, anybody that ever played sports or played ball will tell you that when you have a coach, if you're not playing for a coach that he gets on you, he gets in your face, you probably don't have a good coach. And that ain't no disrespect, because I know, you know, coaches out there, you know, you got hundreds of thousands of coaches out there that do it their way. Right. But the old school way, Nick Saban is doing it from an old school style, just like Bill Belichick. He's not there for you to like.
That's right.
He's there for you to develop and become the best football player you could be in his system. And if you see, you could tell, because if you see games with Nick Saban with Alabama where they could be up by 30 points. If you make a fundamental mistake, Nick Saban will throw his headset down, turn red, and start having a hissy fit cussing on the sideline. I mean, good coaches don't accept mediocrity at any point.
And he goes straight to the player, straight to the player. You can see him having a conversation on the sideline.
Yes. Players will tend to hide. They will tend to try to hide behind other coaches or hide behind other players or go sit on the bench and try to duck him. We've seen it time and time again, and you just don't have that anymore at Miami. So until you get that, you won't have no success.
Coach, like on the sidelines, and it's like, okay, he don't play. He did not play at all.
Right.
I mean, like I said, I've been living in Florida since I was 12, but my family is from Birmingham. They're Alabama fans, and since I've been here, I like UM and everything, but it's like you have seen the change from when Vince Wilfork was playing. I went to school with him in high school, so since Vince Wilfork was playing and everything else, Willis, all them, you can see the change in the coaching.
Yes.
You can see all the changing that has been happening. So it went from that hypeness of UM and the hype of them to just like you expecting whatever you expect.
Right. I think that transition happened with Larry Coker, because Larry Coker was kind of a passive guy. And then after Larry Coker, Randy came in and he tried to clean everything up, but Randy didn't look like he was too much on, people. And then Al Golden came in and we saw how that turned out. So I think you just had that transition from Larry Coker to where we are now. And if that's the case, that's 20 years that you haven't had a stern, old school, consistent type of militant type coach. And until you get one, mediocrity will stay, in my opinion.
I totally agree. You got something else for us, Quella, before we let you get out of here, sweetie?
No, I'm good. It was nice talking to y'all.
Most definitely, man. Well, I appreciate you supporting the show. Thank you so much, man.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. You have a good night, sweetie.
All right. Take it easy.
You too.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's a great call, man. Great call, Quella. Definitely.
It's UTALK, baby.
And I think she got something going there, man. It definitely starts with coaching, Larry Frank, man. It starts with coaching. Come on up, George Diaz, man. You want to go ahead and call 404-462-0477. I'm going to put it up again, man. Great call, Quella. Enjoyed the conversation, man. That was a great point. But definitely, Frank, man, accountability, man. Accountability, man, with this coaching staff, man. I'm going to say with Manny. Because, again, man, I'm seeing the same defense that we've seen for the last 2 years. And I just don't think this is T-Rob, and I don't think this is Shoot. I think this is all Manny. Again, there's no scapegoat to blame now. Blake Baker is gone.
Yeah.
It's UTALK. Call and state your name and where you calling from.
Going on, man? It's George.
George, man. What's up, brother? What's up, man? How you doing, man?
What's up, George?
I'm doing good, man. How you been, man? I know I've been lost for a little bit.
Oh, man. I've been checking you out, man. I followed you on Instagram and stuff, man, and I've been seeing you, man. How's the family?
Family's good, man. Family's good. I just got home. We went to go have dinner. So if I repeat something y'all been talking about, forgive me.
Oh, you good, brother. How's that beautiful little baby?
Frank, she's good, man. She's growing up fast.
That's what's up. Talk to us, man. Talk to us, man. I missed you at the game on Saturday, man. I'm sorry, man. I want to see you, man.
I know.
Talk to us, man. What you think, man?
There's a lot going on. Hey, Larry Frank, man, I hope all's good over there, man.
Hey, man, we picking up the pieces, man. I appreciate it. It's, like I say, man, ain't nothing I want to go through again. I tell you what, I've been through my share of storms and hurricanes, but like I say, a lot of people, I tell them that this one here, in my opinion, for us was worse than Katrina. Because, Katrina, not just to get off the topic, but just real quick, Katrina hit actually in Mississippi, and the levees breached in New Orleans. So the devastation you saw actually wasn't from the storm itself. It was from the storm surge. The damage and destruction that this thing did, like to my hometown and the surrounding areas, man, I ain't trying to do that again, but appreciate your thoughts and well wishes, bro.
For sure.
Yeah, man. Prayers out there for all you guys out there, man.
Thanks for saying that, George. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, quick shout out to Cuban Kane. I saw he said welcome back, George. Shout out to him. I haven't talked to him in a while. All right, guys. So let's get on to this game, man. God damn, the last thing I wanted to see was to get our butt whooped like that. But it happens. It happened again. Listen, we keep struggling to start these games off, man. That 3rd and 7, you're already down 7-0. That running play, I don't understand it. Because even if you're trying to catch them off guard, listen, Alabama's front 7 is so fast they close that gap in a millisecond. So I don't care. You weren't fooling anyone.
Right.
So we keep starting off slow, which is terrible. The second thing, that this conservative offense approach in all these big games, I'm just fed up with it.
That's the key word in these big games. Big games.
Yes.
Right.
That's it. That you had nothing to lose. You have to leave it all on the field. That's all I wanted to see. Just leave it all out on the field. And obviously we didn't see that. I was one to say that Miami's offensive line this year was the best we've had in the last 10 to 12 years. But, man, listen, they still can't compete at this level, dude.
No.
They ain't ready for that.
Right.
At all.
You're right. You're right.
It's not happening, man.
Nope.
And another thing I was worried about, listen, the lack of pass rushing on that defense. Manny. Now he's got nobody to blame. Ain't no defensive coordinator. He put that rope on himself now. So
Preach.
Yeah.
Preach, it's all him, man. That question you guys asked the lady who called in before, if I think Manny's a head coach, I don't think he's a head coach. I think he's a good defensive coordinator.
At best.
But I don't even put all the blame on him, to be honest with you. You know who I want to blame? Blake James. How about Blake James?
Thank you.
Because when Rick stepped down or got fired, whatever you want to call it, we didn't talk. We didn't look at nobody. No, they went directly, paid Temple $4 million. Let's bring Manny back. That's it. That was the answer.
Yep.
So I don't even blame Manny. If you're going to blame somebody, it's got to start with Blake James.
George, I want to salute you on that. I was on a Facebook Live today. I won't say whose it was because I'm pretty sure if anybody here in the chat was on Facebook, then one of the groups, they saw the live, and I was interacting with the person on that, and I said the same thing on the live chat. And this person went on to tell me that Blake James should not be given any criticism because of the fundraising efforts and everything that he did and what he brought in the contributions to the school with the facilities and the Nikes and the Adidas, whatever, And I'm thinking to myself, well, I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, your football program for the University of Miami is the face of the school. And it's what identifies you. It's what you're known as. He's the one that keeps pretty much the control of who's going to be the leader of your football program. So in my opinion, yeah, I hear what you're saying about the fundraising efforts and what he's done as an athletic director. But when you bring a guy in and initially have no coaching search and you don't even try, I have a problem with that. And I'm going to use LSU as an example. Right now, Coach O is on the hot seat. Scott Woodward is the new AD at LSU. He's going into his second year, I believe. The previous AD, he stuck with Les Miles as long as he could until Les Miles finally, they had enough, they let him go. Well, he did the same thing with Coach O. I mean, he had a couple of little interviews here and there, but it was pretty much decided he was going to put Coach O in that head football position. Coach O goes on, first year, what does he do? He loses a homecoming game to Troy at home, Troy University. All right? They were tired of him then. He had a better run in 2018. 2019, he gets Joe Brady. Everybody knows Joe Brady was the catalyst behind that national championship along with Joe Burrow because Brady was the passing game coordinator. He brought the Saints offense to LSU, and it couldn't be defended. So they had a special team, and, you had like 6 first-round draft picks off that squad. So now you come off of that 2019 team the last year, they go 5-5. Guess what? You start off on this past Saturday. You get pushed around, and you lose to UCLA. The athletic director, the boosters, they're upset, and basically it's already been said they're going to weigh his options at the end of the season. So he's coaching for his job right now. So 2 years removed from winning a national championship, Coach O pretty much more than likely will get fired because I don't see him winning a lot of games. They did it with Gene Chizik. 2 years after winning a national championship at Auburn. What happened? They got him out of there. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, if these guys have won national championships and you see where the program is sliding down, you get them out of there and try to save it. And once again, I hope Manny works out, but he's got to change in order to work out. So if you don't make any changes and you continue to do the same stuff that's pretty much crippling the program, that's why the athletic director needs to step up and say, hey, you're not cutting the mustard. I made a mistake. Thanks, but no thanks. So I'm with you on the Blake James thing because he's the one that controls who comes in those doors as the head coach anyway.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
George, let me ask you a question while I got you on. What are your thoughts about players that ain't producing that we're still seeing on whether it's either side of the ball, especially the defensive side? Are you ready to start seeing the younger players, man, just put these guys in?
That was my next topic on my list. I made a little list.
I know you, man. I know you was about ready.
Guys as fast as possible. But yeah, my next thing on my list was best 11 players need to be on that field. I'm tired of this seniority shit. I'm tired of all seniors got to play. Man, best 11 got to play. Listen, James Williams on defense has to be on that field. That kid is a man. Preach. That kid can play football.
Preach.
Cameron Kitchen, put him on the field.
Yep. That defensive backfield after Bowling got ejected, I could see Couch, Kitchens, Williams, maybe Blades at the other spot. You couldn't have done no worse than what you had with Ivy. You just kept Ivy on there because he's a senior.
And George, I remember, not to cut you off, Larry Frank, George, I remember you was high on number 33 too, Chance Williams. You was high on him too, George. He need to be on there. You was talking about him last year.
Yep. And on offense, you know when I say this name, you're gonna be like, George, it's you. Tell me Xavier Restrepo does not need to be playing on that field on that offensive side.
You said that too. That was another name.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He showed heart and toughness.
6-7 years into this program. Mm-hmm. Xavier Restrepo needs to be the slot receiver for the University of Miami.
Mm-hmm. And they got him playing behind Harley. And I mean, I'm just like, look, I appreciate Harley's efforts, but you got to go with what gives you the opportunity, who gives you the best opportunity to win. And out of those two, honestly, I think it's X at this point.
It is. Listen, that kid's route running is amazing. His hands are good. I know he had that drop ball when he jumped and tried to come down on 1 foot. He should have caught it, but he made up for it with that touchdown catch after anyway. But
absolutely.
To me, that kid needs to be on the field. And that kid's a playmaker. He's a baller. That kid's always his whole football career, even since he was playing Little League, like he's had to show up. He's short, small, white boy. He's got to show up, and he always shows up. Mm-hmm. So as long as Manny keeps playing the seniority, he's going to cost himself his own job, man. He's got to do a better job of putting this football team together.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Listen, ain't nobody in this world that really thought Miami was going to be dominant.
Right.
We're not at that level yet. I wanted us to compete. We didn't. So in my eyes, 2021 season starts right now. I look at that like a preseason game, and let's move on.
Right.
Now you look at our schedule. Yeah. Look at our schedule. There's not one team on our schedule that should beat us. Not one.
I don't know, George. I'm gonna say Michigan State.
I don't want to hear that. Man.
I don't know. I'm sorry, George, but Florida State don't look like they're the same team from last year. You know I hate them, George. I hate them, George.
Why you get me started?
Huh?
Why you get me started?
George, I'm sorry. George, I gotta keep it real, bro. I'm just saying, George.
George, let me ask you this, George. I'm gonna ask you this. I hear what you're saying, but I gotta present it. If Florida State could get up and go toe-to-toe with the number 9 team in the country, what makes you think they won't get up even more so to go toe-to-toe with us, their most hated rival, we got 4 straight on them. We've been clowning them. And we in their house.
Is Notre Dame really the number 9 team in the nation, or are they just overrated?
True. I can see that.
But, George, are you saying that Florida State looks like they looked last year?
No, I'm not saying – no. They looked a lot better than last year. But listen, there was a lot of things going on at FSU. Let's not forget it was Bobby Bowden Day. They had a lot of momentum going into the game. I honestly kept saying all offseason that Notre Dame, it's not who they're projecting Notre Dame to be.
No, they're not. I agree.
So, I mean, they had a lot of things swing their way. When Milton came in, the crowd went nuts. He hit that first pass on the dive. They should have won the football game.
They should have.
They should have won that game.
Yeah.
And they ended up losing it. So
yeah, I agree.
Let's see how they come out this week. But I don't want to believe all the hype in FSU until I see a couple more games on them. Because I think they had a lot to play for that yesterday, you know?
Let me ask you this. What do you want to see going forward out of our football team?
I want to see the best 11 players. I want Manny to put the best 11 players on that field. I want them to leave every game. Listen, Appalachian State, they better walk in there and spank them. Because if we end up winning 24-17, 24-14, some dumb shit like that, that's not going to look good either. So they got to go in there and whoop Appalachian State. Then you got Michigan State, which you say we should be worried about. You think that 12 o'clock game wasn't done on purpose? Because you know Miami takes advantage to make night games here in Miami to fill that stadium. But I'm sure the coaching staff said, make that a noon game so these guys die in the middle of that football field.
Yeah, the heat.
Good point.
Listen, Michigan State, I'm not too worried about that. I think that's a W on us. Like I said, I see us going 11-1. I think we're going to run the table. I don't see anybody that can beat us. Everybody keeps telling me North Carolina before the season started. Oh, North Carolina. Listen, North Carolina lost too much to make up for it in this draft.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to say that. They lost
but we still haven't beat them. We haven't beat them in the last 2 years. We haven't beat them.
We haven't. That's probably going to be the toughest game mentally for us because we haven't beat them. But we should beat them, and I think we will beat them.
Okay.
And I'll be there in North Carolina to watch that game because.
Are you going?
I feel like, yeah. You know I don't miss a road game, baby.
I know.
I'm on the road. So, I think we run the table. Honestly, I think we'll be 11-1 at the end of the season. And for all those fans, really, that we're talking all that trash that we suck, I get it. I get you guys saying that, but listen, if you're going to support, I don't support mediocrity. I want this team to go back to the 2000s and put a spanking on everybody and not give a shit what the score is. But can't be talking all that trash. You know, I heard it. I heard someone's crap in Atlanta, but my God. But I honestly think we'll go 11-1. I don't see us losing a game the rest of the year, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Okay. All right, George, man. I appreciate you, big dog, man. It was good hearing from you, man. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, man. I'll be on more, man. And what happens to me is in the off season, I have an electrical company, so I try to work hard because, like I tell you, I don't miss a road game. So now September to the end of November, early December, we're home. I live in Miami. I go to all these home games, and when we're on the road, I take a plane Friday, so it's one day less, you know.
That's what's up.
So I try to work my butt off during the off season just so I can enjoy the season with them boys.
That's what's up, man. Well, man, brother, it was good hearing from you, man. We'll be talking, man. You stay safe, man. And it's always go Canes, man. It's always go Canes. But we got to get this together, though, bro, for real.
Oh, I think we are. Like I said, man, hey, our offensive line, we're not ready for Alabama. We're not ready for any of those big SEC schools, you know. But I think you're going to see it now where you're going to be like, okay, well, they're not that bad for the ACC. And listen, man, ACC looked like shit this weekend, dude.
They did.
I mean, Clemson lost to Georgia. It was a close game or whatever, but man, they couldn't move the ball. Georgia's defense is ridiculous, and North Carolina looked like trash. We looked like trash.
Duke lost to Charlotte. I think Georgia Tech lost.
Duke lost. Georgia Tech lost. I mean, all credibility. ACC is probably the worst out of all Power 5 conferences right now.
They are, and I think just like Alabama is the banner for the SEC, Clemson is the banner for the ACC. And listen, Clemson's shot at getting to the college football playoff took a major hit because now they need to root for Georgia to run the table. And if Georgia loses too, that's a bad loss for them. So yeah, you're right. ACC took a massive hit this weekend.
Yep, they did. And for anybody doubting Young, man, kid's the real deal. And he didn't even look that impressive, to be honest with you, and they still whooped their ass. So that goes to tell you something. Coaching. So
they put that boy in the best position to win. Definitely.
Absolutely. Well, I'll let you boys go, man, so you guys can take some more calls. I'll keep listening to the show. I'm on the computer. I'll watch it.
Thank you, brother, man. You stay safe.
Appreciate you.
Hey, stay safe, man. Hey, Larry, Frank, man, prayers to you and everyone out there going through that stuff, man. Hope you guys can keep fast, man.
Thank you, bro, man. Appreciate it.
Go Canes, baby.
Go Canes, baby.
Get that W on Saturday, man.
All right, George. You take care, brother. Later. That was my brother, George.
It's UTALK, baby.
Man. Shout out to George Diaz, man. Let's read some of these chats we got, man. Sigmund, what's going on, Sigmund? Sigmund in the chat, man. What's up, Sigmund? He said, I seen Ed Reed and Michael Irvin was there. I wonder what they were thinking. Me too. Sigmund also said, we need aggressiveness from the players and coaches. I totally agree. And he said that Mallory just got pushed around. He can't block. You know, and that's one of the things we don't have, man. We don't have big tight ends, man. We don't have blocking tight ends. And we haven't the last 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? I think the last blocking tight end I remember was, what's the big guy name that played with he got drafted to the Jets. I can't think of his name right now. You know what I'm talking about? He was there when Mark Richt was there. Man, I can't think of his name, Larry Frank. He was, I can't think of his name, but
I remember Njoku, but Njoku went to the Browns.
Yeah, not Njoku. He came, I think he was before Njoku. I can't think of it. I'm gonna think of it though, man. Josh Ayers, what's going on, bro? Josh Ayers in the building, man. UTALK day one. Josh Ayers, what it do? But yeah, man, I didn't even see us go 2 tight end sets a lot neither, man, in that game, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I thought they told me the kid a Royal. I thought that he would get a little bit more burn than what he got. I seen him out there on a couple of plays, Frank.
They didn't really give those guys a shot. They didn't let them get their shine. Like I said, when the coin toss, was done and Miami finally got the ball on the first offensive series, Rhett's mind was made up. Like, I'm gonna be conservative. Like, I don't think this is gonna work. Rhett's kind of like reminds you of a situation where, when you're young, you got confidence in yourself. You figure you could do this. Like, you want to talk to a girl. Like you're pumping yourself up all week to ask a girl to go to a dance with you. And now it's time, you with your boys, and you're like, there she go talk to her. And you punk out, and then you don't do it. And then the next guy asks her to the dance, and, you go to the dance, and she's dancing, with her date, and you around there went stag, hanging with your boys, just looking all puppy dog face the whole night. That's what I saw. That's the vibe I got Saturday.
George hit it there with Chris Herndon. That's what I was talking about, Chris Herndon.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, man.
I forgot about him.
Herndon was a blocking tight end, and he could, catch the ball too, man. He was complete, man, tight end. I like Herndon, man. Josh Ayers, you don't want my opinion on the Alabama game. I'm pissed. Yes, I do. We've been giving ours all night, Josh Ayers. We want to hear it. Trust me, man. You couldn't have said nothing we ain't already said, bro, so give it. We want it, man. We all are pissed. And Larry Frank, man, I just think it's a such thing, man, as giving a team too much respect, man. And I thought that's what we did on offense and defense, man. I thought that we just gave Alabama too much respect, man. I mean, we came out, like I said, Rhett Lashley, man, let the air out the building with the conservative play callers. Like you say, man, it just seemed like he was just playing not to make a mistake, calling plays not to make mistakes. He wasn't trying to be aggressive. Yeah. And I just think that Alabama smelt blood, man, and They wasn't gonna let up, man. They wasn't gonna let up.
Alabama was one of those teams that you got to go down swinging. You know, it's kind of like if you look at the first Rocky movie when Rocky fought Apollo. You know, he knew Rocky wasn't going to win, but he ain't gonna go up there and let Apollo just do him in and go to the canvas. I mean, you know, you want to have that rematch, you know, and you do what you got to do. You fight him, and you saw what happened. It went into Rocky 2, and they had the rematch. But in this case, I mean, you do what you got to do. You put up a fight, because if you do go 11-1. Let's say you go 11-1, like George thinks, you know, like a lot of us, you know, think they can do. You go 11-1, but let's say you have a whole bunch of other one-loss teams at the end of the season. All right. You know they're going to look at strength of schedule. Now, Miami's strength of schedule after Alabama is not good. Your only shot was North Carolina. All right. They were the 10th ranked team. You got to kind of hope Virginia Tech can kind of get themselves up there and get ranked and all of that when you face them. But at the end of the day, if you have an 11-1 team and you have a weak schedule and the only loss you got is a beat down to Alabama, how can you state a case to get into the college football playoff?
True that.
So you swing and go toe-to-toe with them in the first game, and even if you lose a close one. That way, you know, it gives you better odds. Be like, okay, well, this was the first game of the season, because if you're going to drop a game, week 1 is the week you want to drop it. So you do what you got to do, and if you compete and you can, the playoff committee will look at you, well, they got better as the season went along, and it makes a stronger case for you to try to get into the playoff. So they can go 11-1. They're the only way I think they could get in at this point. They'd have to go all the way, win the ACC championship, and you're gonna have to have a couple of 2-loss teams behind you, because a 1-loss Georgia team that doesn't win the SEC would probably get in over a 1-loss Miami team that would win it, because the ACC is going to be weak this year. The Independents with Notre Dame, they go undefeated. You know they're going to put them in.
Right.
Alabama, they're going to get in. Ohio State, they're going to get in.
Yep.
So Oklahoma, for some strange reason, they love Oklahoma, the playoff committee. They do what they got to do. They're going to get in. So, yeah, man, you got to put up a fight.
That's what's up. Sigmund, man, what's going on, man? Appreciate the donation like always, man. Always, man. I appreciate you always donating to the show, man. Sigmund said, I seen Michael Irvin on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith. He snapped on Stephen A. What happened? I didn't see it today, man. I'm normally on that, man. What happens, Sigmund?
I didn't see it either, man. I looked and read. I just heard there was a lot of hollering and screaming. I said, you know what, man? I can't do this. I love Irvin. And I mean, I'm not really a fan of Stephen A., but I'm not gonna put no TV show on with people hollering and screaming at me for an hour. I can't do that, man. No.
Sigmund, tell us what happened, man. What's going on, man? Tell us what happened between Michael Irvin and Stephen A. Hey, shout out to Josh here. Cam Harris ain't worth doo-doo. O-line once again looks confused and weak. Totally. I question if any of them fools can bench 315 more than 3 reps. No, I agree. Now, we supposed to have been in this, Larry Frank, this strength and conditioning program. He's been telling us how much they've transitioned and transformed their bodies, man. With who that is, the coach, Feedley? Is the strength and conditioning coach?
I don't know his name. I'd be lying if I try to say it.
But it's just like, man, I said on Coach Hayes' show last Thursday, Frank, man, were we going to play like we weighed? And we didn't. They played small. And they were just as big, if not bigger, than Alabama's offensive line, and we did get pushed around. Like I said, Cuban say I seen something different. He said that Zion was holding his own over on the left side, and that's not what I seen, because I seen Eric Allen over there eating just like Will Anderson was on the left side. So, and I seen guys getting pushed back like they was on rollerblades, Larry Frank. That's what I saw. I didn't see nothing.
Zion had his moments where he held his own, but he also had his moments where he didn't. And I think Zion's draft position is still there.
You think so?
But
because I was about to say, man,
if
first
he
round,
represents the rest of the season, if he goes the rest of the season and does what he's projected to do, he should be all right. Now, the bad part is, you know how in the NFL draft they always use your good points and your bad points. The bad points, they're going to use this Alabama game, because the bad times that he had before, and you just seen it, like a lot of examples.
Mm-hmm. Thoughts on the linebackers, man? How did you think the linebackers performed? Because I seen a lot of guys out of position, man. When they was running that off tackle, man, they looked confused, running up in the wrong gaps. Once they got engaged in blocks, man, those guys was just pushing them down the field. What are your thoughts on the linebackers?
I mean, fundamentals were bad. You still had a lot of the arm tackles. They were out of position. They bad angles. I mean, it's what we expected. The sad part about it was we already knew they would be challenged because of, just not being a great group. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be because I just really thought they were just going to get rammed and ran over and bulldozed. But still, they didn't make their case any better. So no way to go but up for them,
Were there anybody that you was pleasantly surprised to see that played decent? I mean, who caught your eye? And I want to start with the offensive side of the ball.
It's a tie. I got to go with the receivers. I'm going with X and Keyshawn. I think if they'd have got more targets, they would have made more things happen. I mean, X got the touchdown, obviously. Keyshawn, I mean, he did what he could do. Like I say, 4 targets, 3 catches. Offensively, those two collectively, they didn't have nothing to call home about. But if I had to find a bright spot, their performance on the offensive side gives me positivity moving forward. On the defensive side, obviously it's Chance Williams because that strip sack fumble or whatever, he's young, and that's the thing. He's showing you, this is what you envision from a 4-star high school senior at the time when he came out, when he committed. This is what you wanted him to do. And coming in and being able to do that with Jess Simpson as his position coach, he's going to have a bright future. I like what I see for him. I mean, I think he can become one of the next great ends, So defensively, I like that. Also, Corey Couch. Don't sleep on Corey Couch.
He made a lot of open field tackles, and he was in there sticking his nose in there too, man.
He didn't back down either. But once again, what's the common denominator? These are all young guys.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Josh Ayers crazy. He say Borgalis and Headley. They were good.
Hey man, there was a time when we would cringe when the kicker would come out, man. Yeah. That's the only time I felt good was when Borgalis came out, and like I say, Headley, hey man, I love Headley, man. I love Headley. I just love everything about him. To me, he's everything that Miami is, man. Gotta love him.
Yeah, if I give my players on offense, man, I would definitely have to say Rambo, X, and Keyshawn Smith, because when the numbers were called, they made plays,
Right.
And like you say, they didn't have a lot of touches, and I think that they should have had more, but they definitely stepped up when their number was called. Defensive side of the ball, man, I was pleasantly surprised to see Cam Kitchens come in and play like he played. Definitely like Chance Williams, and what was the other guy, the safety, man? Williams. I thought Williams came in and did good too for the reps that he and the snaps that he got. So we'll see, man, this week, man. Appalachia State at home, 7:00 game, man. What you want to see, bro?
You know what? I could say better play calling. I could say better execution, but I'm gonna start off at square one. I want to see fundamentals. I want to see tackle. I want to see wrapping up on the tackle. Mm-hmm. I want to see better angles. I want to see, DBs not getting burnt. I want to see the offensive line opening and sustaining holes and blocks and everything. I want to see that. I want to see Cam, if he's going to start, don't dance to the hole. Get your lane and go through it. I want to see De'Aaron King, more accurate passing. I just want to see the fundamentals. I want to see the fundamentals get better. We can only hope for the play calling, because that's going to be what it's going to be. Right. But fundamentals is something that you don't have to be hoping to see. That's something you should expect to see.
Right.
Because you don't go through 8 months of camp and a week of practice and you see the mistakes that you made. And then if you know that you didn't arm tackle when they play the film and you know it, you're going to see it. And you come out against Appalachian and you still trying to tackle with one arm, hoping you can grab them down. Come on, man. You're wasting your time. I mean, go sit down and let somebody else get a shot if you're going to do that.
Most definitely. Shout out to Chris Malone, man, in the chat, man. I want to see Isaiah Johnson play opposite of Stevenson. I totally agree. Either him or Blades. I'm tired of seeing 8, though. I agree with you, Chris Malone.
Yeah.
I mean, damn, somebody.
That's a good call.
Somebody.
Yeah.
Fila, what it do? I didn't think we was going to win. We didn't either, but we didn't think we was going to get blowed out by 31.
Absolutely. Yeah, we didn't see that coming, man. We thought they'd at least cover the spread.
I mean, at least, man. Damn, what it was, 19? What was the spread?
It went from 18 to 19 and a half at game time.
Yeah, man. George Diaz, I forgot to say it when I called in, but a huge shout out to our kicker, Andy Boy Gallis. That kid can kick a football. He did, man. He did. I mean, he was touch biking, and the field goals that he did make. But Fila, man, most definitely, man. I totally agree with you, man. I mean, me and Larry Frank, man, we said that, man, we didn't think that we was going to win the game, but we just wanted to compete, man. And, again, does any of you guys go to practice? I just want to know what the hell they doing in practice, man. Are they practicing tackling? I haven't been to a practice. So has anybody in the chat gone to a Miami Hurricanes practice? And can you please tell us, are they practicing tackling? Do they even hit in practice? Because, again, we are seeing the same thing over and over and over, man. Missed tackles, bad angles. And I just want to know what have they been doing for the last 8 months. That's all I want to know. What are we practicing on, man, over the spring and in the summertime? Same thing over and over, Larry Frank.
Look like they're making highlight videos to sell the fan base because what you saw the product on the field the other day, it sure didn't mirror what they were trying to sell us, in practice.
Right. Thank you. And, I mean, blown coverages, man, especially that second touchdown. I mean, the wide receiver was wide open. Nobody was around him, man. It's crazy. So
we ought to joke basically, and what got me was the announcers were making jokes. We got no respect going in. Nobody picked us to win. On ESPN's game day, I think Kane. What was his last name? Was it Kane Brown, the guest picker? He was the only one that picked Miami. Everybody else picked Alabama. Every show that I saw, they wrote us off. We're going to be a joke. We're going to get blown out.
Hold on, Larry Frank. Let me cut you off. We got to call. Hold on, Larry Frank. Hold that call. It's UTALK. Come on, bite. Hello?
It's George again.
Yeah, go ahead, George.
You made me have to call back in. You had to make me call.
Go ahead, George.
Talking about practice?
Hey, you seen Josh Ayers, right? He's stupid, ain't he?
Yeah.
All right, Jim Moore.
Right. George, have you been to practice, George?
Practice.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they don't tackle. They don't play hard. They don't practice hard. We all should know that. We all see their Instagram videos. It's not like they edit those plays or anything. A lot of it is two-hand touch, man, to be honest with you. That's what goes on in our practices.
That's
ridiculous. Once we got into fall, once we got into fall, closer to this Bama game, they started tackling more. But all spring and all that shit, hell no. It's two-hand touch.
That's ridiculous. That tells everything I need to know right there, bro. I mean, like I say, I'd never been to practice, and I was just wondering. I know some of the fans, guys go down and watch, and I just wanted to know because that's crazy. I mean, that tells us everything we need to damn know.
Do you want to know what our practices look like? To be honest with you,
what?
Did you see us warm up on the football field?
Yeah.
In Atlanta.
Yeah.
How they hit each other soft and got to warm up and shit. That's
right.
Our practice.
That's ridiculous.
That's our practice. Can't afford to lose nobody. That's the way of thinking, I guess. So something I forgot to ask you boys when I called in the first time.
Mm-hmm.
That fumble call.
What about it?
I need to know where and what replay did they see somebody in the Alabama team pick up the football?
The guy that was on the ground picked it up. The running back that fumbled took the ball out of 26 hands that was standing up and had all of his strength. And I forgot to talk about that. This Cam Kitchens hit him. He fumbled. Hall standing over the top of him, picked the ball up with 2 hands. He's not down yet. And I heard a lot of the fans booing in the arena. I'm like, what the hell y'all booing about? The running back just lifted his one arm up with Cam Kitchens, laying on top of Cam Kitchens, and grabbed the ball out of Gervin Hall's hand with one arm. That's ridiculous.
Okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah, he wasn't down. Garvin Hall wasn't down. He was standing up, and he grabbed the ball with 2 hands. The running back reached up from off the ground, because you seen Cam Kitchens hit him, and he snatched the ball away from Gervin Hall with 1 hand. Go back and look at it, bro. And the fans was mad, like
that makes sense.
Yeah, like the fans were mad, like they just gave Alabama back the ball. No, Garvin Hall wasn't down. He was standing up, picking the ball up.
Okay, that makes sense.
And had 2 hands.
I haven't gone back to see it.
So. Yeah, go back and look at it, bro.
I normally replay the games the day after and make my own critiques and stuff about the game, but I just got from Atlanta back yesterday, and I'm probably not going to do it for the Bama game because there's no point. But and the safety call, I don't think he was out of the pocket for the safety, but either way, we're going to get a harassment. So, but I felt in the game that we had a couple calls that shouldn't have been called against us, but it doesn't matter. Like I keep saying, a lot of Miami fans look for excuses and all the refs, all this and that. And forget, we don't need that. You got to go in there and win the football game, and that's it. But,
right.
Yeah.
Those calls or did not determine the outcome of that football game.
All right, absolutely. But I had to call back in because you guys started talking about practice. Okay, well, I guess instead of writing all of it, you just call in really fast and tell them we play 2-hand touch.
Well, we appreciate that, man, because that tells us everything we need to know now, Larry Frank, for real.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense now when you saw what happened. To see, how it transpired, how it originated, that tells me all I need to know.
That's crazy. Appreciate that, George. Thank you, brother.
Hey, did you guys see? Because I did see it. One of my buddies sent it to me, but did any of you guys see the post-game interview with King?
Yeah, King was mad. I seen it.
Did they not?
I didn't see it. I heard about it.
Say it again.
Oh my God. I don't know. It looked like he was depressed, like he wanted to kill. I don't know what. He tried to talk, and I've never seen that kid that way.
He tried to stay professional as he possibly could, man. Just like X did. I seen X. I don't know if you seen X post game interview, and they was asking him as far as like when the ball is kicked in the end zone, is that up to them to kneel every time it comes in? And he kept it professional too. He was like, we have to listen to what our special teams coach Packey say.
I listen to our coach, and that's it.
Exactly. And it's I don't know, man. Like I say, man, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And King was just mad because he sounded like he wanted to go off, man, on about the play calling. But again, I think that he did a good job at just keeping his composure and kind of just, keeping it along the lines of, that we were struggling, we couldn't get a rhythm going. But I know he wanted to be like, man, yeah, we was calling some dumb play. But he couldn't.
I think
that's a subject of conversation.
I had never seen him
doors.
I've never seen him like that.
Yeah. He didn't put him in a position to succeed, man. Rhett choked. And then he got in his interview. Did you see Rhett interview George Diaz where he just pretty much he didn't take no accountability?
They sent it to me today. I'm gonna watch it.
Watch it and hit me up and tell me what you think about that. Well, after you watch it, let me know what you think. He didn't take no accountability for nothing. He had an excuse for everything.
I'm pretty sure. I was just gonna say, how many excuses did he have?
Right. Him and Manny. Manny had the nerve to say in his interview.
Oh, Manny's interview is always political and the moral victory and what good can they get out of it and blah blah blah, same shit.
Did you hear him when he said the team didn't like any toughness? And I'm like, what the hell was you watching? He said, I don't think that we wasn't tough. I'm like, oh really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, Joe.
Anyway, I'll let you guys go. See if somebody else calls in.
All right, George, man. Appreciate it. Anyway. Bro, call in whenever you want. You already know, man. You family.
All right, brothers, man. Y'all have a good night.
All right, bro.
All right, take it easy, George.
It's UTALK, baby.
George stupid, man. Chris Malone. They killed me with the quarterback sneak from shotgun on 4th and go. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What the hell was that, Frank? What was that, Frank?
I was like, what are you doing? Like,
what was that?
It's not a quarterback sneak if you're 4 yards behind.
He didn't even have a chance. I mean, you rush to get up to the line to snap the ball. Alabama had already penetrated the line as soon as they snapped the ball. And like you say, he had to come from 4 yards back to try to get to the goal. I mean, it was just dumb as heck.
With an offensive line that's getting dominated.
Dominated. Like, and been pushed around the whole game. The whole game.
It made no sense. No sense whatsoever. That just, like I said, man, like we started off when we highlighted in the beginning of the show, it was just preparation wasn't there, and the lack of preparation led to a lack of execution. I mean, that's 24/7. That'll always happen.
Fila just made a good point. Shout out to Fila. Fila say we need to play in the SEC so we can get better. We just good enough to beat teams in our division. I totally agree. And see, he went there. He went there, and I said, I say that to say, so what? We go, and let's say we do go 11-1. To get there to do what? The team now it's different if we get better. If we did get in the playoffs, but what if? But from what we see, Larry Frank, we can't come close to beating somebody like those teams you name. We're not gonna beat Bama. Nope. Hell, I still don't give a damn. I don't care if Clemson did lose. I don't still think we can beat Clemson. I don't. That's just me. We're not going to beat Ohio State.
Seeing them, Georgia. Yeah,
we ain't going to beat Georgia. So it's like, what's the use of even getting there going 11-1, man? We can't compete with those schools. And some people are cool with just wanting to go 11-1 and say we had a decent season, man. But you can beat these teams inside your division. I want to see us get better to be able to compete with the powerhouses. That's my thing, bro. You got an experience. I was told all season we got the experienced team. It don't look like it. We ain't playing like we experienced. We got the better offensive line. We didn't play like it. I seen a second-year plan dominating 3- and 5th-year seniors on the offensive line.
You had a younger Alabama team that looked like the more experienced team than the actual more experienced team because we looked like the younger team the other day.
Yes, we did. Preach. Yes, we did. I totally agree. Totally agree. And it's just like I said, like how is it, Larry Frank, that we can sit here and you can look at their first and second year players that were game changers in that game, but our 3rd, 4th, and 5th year players didn't give us nothing. Like you said, D'Eriq King's supposed to have a look like Bryce Young. Why couldn't Rhett Lashley put him in a position and game plan to make our offense flourish in some type of way? I mean, he didn't give us nothing. And you've been over there with Alabama over in the SEC. You've seen Alabama, and you just seemed like you were starstruck. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it.
And let Bryce Young set records against us. He had the best, I think that was the best performance for a debut quarterback, a quarterback making his debut. Better than Tua, better than Mac Jones, better than A.J. McCarron. So, but when you play Miami, you set records against them. Remember those 2 running backs from North Carolina?
Right.
What else is new?
Right. Well, we say, man, this defense to me, man, it still look the same. I don't care, man. I mean, like Cuban Kane said, man, Blake Baker ain't done no more. Ain't no more scapegoat. No more scapegoat, man. And you the defensive coordinator. You need to get this right now. I still don't think that you listening to the guys that you hired because this is still the same defense that we're looking at. Why shoot there? T-Rod, we know that this ain't T-Rod's style to play that defensive bite. We know this.
Right.
And T-Rod was a man about it in his interview, in his post-game interview. Accountability. He took accountability for pole tackling in the defensive bite group. I just, I'm just tired of the excuses, man, from these head coaches, man. I am, man. George Diaz said that he honestly believed that they were protecting King from getting hurt. Chris Malone called Manny Baker. Listen, y'all. Listen,
the ironic thing about protecting King from getting hurt, I think everybody probably had to hold their breath when he went down and came up limping, because I thought he hurt it. I thought he hurt that knee again initially. And you know what? Now that you say that, I thought about it. I'm wondering if De'Aaron King is even 100%, because you had the surgery 8 months ago, and you just back too soon. Like, the average ACL return is 9 to 12 months after surgery. And I mean, everybody ain't Adrian Peterson, so I don't know, man. I'm hoping there's no shenanigans going on with rushing him back, because I don't know. I guess I'm just playing devil's advocate, but I just thought about that because when I saw him go down and I saw him get up, he was limping, but it was the other leg that he was favoring at the time. I was just like, man, I know they ain't just tore his boy ACL again, because it was very possible it could have happened.
But that's what we was talking about. We wanted to see that. We was like, if the offensive line don't hold up, we would be able to tell if he was 100% or not, because he was going to have to be running around for his life back there. And
yeah,
they had him on the move.
And with 9 rushes for 10 yards, I'm just going to say the jury's still out on if he's 100%, because even against Clemson, I'd have to go back and look at the stats, but he was somewhat effective running the ball. It didn't make a difference, but he was somewhat effective. Mm-hmm. You let TVD get more rushing yards than you. So are you really healthy?
That's a good question. Josh Ayers, question. If Miami loses to Appalachian State, then what? Manny's head on the chopping block, Lashley? Listen, Manny's head on the chopping block with me, because I'm tired of seeing the same thing that I've seen the last 3 years. And I think Cuban Kane said, we can't get up for the big games. Lashley better not think about trying to go and get no head coaching job nowhere else. I don't think he's ready. I'm going to tell him how Steele told Q and Juice. He just local. He local. He better stay local, man. I mean, he ain't ready for the big stage. Lashley ain't. But I think that Manny's already on the chopping block. I mean, trust your eyes, Josh Ayers. Don't listen to what you hear. Look at what you see. We looking at the same team that we've been, the same defense, the same team that is not fundamentally sound, that's coming out here, like Larry Frank said, making bad tackles, poor angled. We're just not seeing the development of the players that have been in the program for the last 3 to 4 years. We're not seeing them get better. That's coaching.
I'll tell you what, D. Here's a stat that I guess once this stat really gets out, people are gonna really get shell shocked. If Manny Diaz goes 8-4 this year, he will have, after 3 years, I think it's 21-15, if I'm not wrong, for 3 years. Guess who else had a 21-15? If that's not the record, but he'll have an identical record to another previous coach. Guess what previous coach's identical record he would have if he goes 8-4 after 3 years to equal the other coach after 3 years?
Who?
Al Golden.
We know what happened with that, right?
Exactly. So if he goes, because I remember looking at the stat, I want to say it's 21-15. If he goes 8-4, if he goes 8-4 this year, he will have a 8-3 now, because he's already lost 1 game. So if he goes 8-3 on the rest of the season, he will tie Al Golden after 3 years. Same record. That tells me all I need to know.
It's crazy. Josh Ayers. Okay, but who does Miami go after as a head coach? Me and Larry Frank threw out some names. I'm gonna throw out my 2. I said Freeman, Marcus Freeman, defensive coordinator from Notre Dame. I like Marcus Freeman, and I also like Mike Lotsky. Me and Coach Hayes turned me on to Lotsky, man, and I think I agree with Coach Hayes too, man. As far as just toughness and getting his teams up, man, he can recruit good, and he's a tough guy, man. I like Lotsky, so I'm gonna say those 2, man. Who would you say, Larry Frank? Who your guys, man? I think Josh came in late. when we talked
Yeah, he
about that.
came in late. I'm going with Willie Fritz at Tulane because, like I said, he showed you against Oklahoma the other day what he can get his boys up to do. Tulane has always, under his tutelage, been able to have the opportunity to score points. Also, Billy Napier at Louisiana Lafayette. Auburn actually went after Billy Napier. He told them no, and Louisiana Lafayette is they're actually ranked, and he's actually got them on a level of respectability. So. Maybe I'm being a homer because those are two Louisiana coaches, but other guys I would look at as well is as we said earlier, I would wait and see what happens with Matt Rule in Carolina. He may not, after 2 more years, if they don't do anything, he may not make it. The reason why I throw his name out, I look at what he did at Baylor. Granted, it was 1 year, but it was at Baylor. He did pretty well. And just a couple other guys out there. Maybe approach P.J. Fleck at Minnesota. Maybe approach the Iowa State coach.
Yes, I like P.J. Fleck. I do.
Yeah, you got options. I'm not against Luke Fickell. Luke Fickell from Cincinnati, but I think he's got a good thing. I don't think he would leave Cincinnati, but you got options out there. So, you can the name Miami is still a brand. It doesn't hold the weight it used to, but it's still a brand. And a guy that's at a Group of 5 school, hey, it's an opportunity, why not?
That's what's up. George Diaz say we ain't going 8-3. I don't think we going 11-1. I mean that's just me, but we'll see. Sigmund, man, I'm gonna take this last question, man. Question: in the last 3 years, didn't we lose the first game and the last game include the bowl games?
Let's see. 2018, you lost to LSU. You went on 5 straight victories after that. And then I think that was the 6 and 7 year. No, that was 2019. No, okay, well, we're thinking of the Manny Diaz. 2019, you lost to Florida. And then you lost to Louisiana Tech in the bowl game, and I think that was FIU.
FIU, it was.
Year.
Yeah.
Okay. Last year,
Oklahoma State.
We won the opener last year against UAB.
Right.
We looked lethargic, but we beat UAB in the opener. But we lost to
Oklahoma State.
Clemson, North Carolina, and Oklahoma State last year. Mm-hmm. The LSU year, which was 2018, that was Mark Richt before he got out of here. It was LSU to open the season. I know. They're gonna have to help me out in the chat. I can't remember how we finished that year because I know we started off with the loss to LSU and we won 5 straight.
Who did we lost?
I'm trying to remember. I think that was the rematch with Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin beat us in the bowl game because remember we got Wisconsin 2 years in a row.
It was. That was Wisconsin. Yeah. We lost to Wisconsin. Yep.
Yeah, we lost to them 2 years in a row in the bowl game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the man, y'all, with all of that. He knew his history, y'all. Larry Frank Jr.
I try, man. I'm getting old, man. It takes a little longer, but I try to remember.
Hey, man, George Diaz say, our team is going to be good against ACC and Michigan State, but we still ain't on that Alabama level. 11-1, and I'll see you in North Carolina in December for the ACC championship. But my question,
man, I hope he's right.
I hope he's right too. But George, my question is, when are we going to be able to compete with the powerhouses? I mean, with the experienced team. So I mean, are we just want to win the ACC championship to do what? Like, when are we going to want to? I mean, we got the talent, we got the experience. Do we not want to compete, or when are we going to be able to compete with the powerhouses? That's my question. I'm not content with just going 11-1 and then get to a bowl game and get blowed out of the house again by 31. That's all I'm saying, Larry Frank.
Go back a couple of years, D. I mean, the Washington Huskies under Chris Peterson, they won the Pac-12, and that's the scenario. But look what happened. They won the Pac-12. They get into the playoff and they got smashed. So yeah, it's cool to win your conference and make the playoff, but you ultimately gotta be able to compete with the big boys, because if you get into the playoff, it don't have to be Alabama. Who wants to get beat down by Ohio State again?
Right.
you know. You know, Oklahoma, you're in a track meet with them, you know, and you don't want that. So you got to be able to step up to that competition.
That's what's up. And last one, man. Chris Malone say not old, he just sees it. That's what's up.
That's my dude. I like that.
That's
Man.
what's
I
up,
like
man. Hey,
I like
man.
that.
Kane family. UTALK family, man. George, I got you, George. I want to see progress throughout the year and beat Clemson in the ACC championship. That's the start. Hey, yeah, we've been waiting on that the last 2 years, George, but we'll see. Like you say, we'll see, bro. Man, Saturday is Appalachian State, man. So everybody, man, look, man. I appreciate everybody, man, all of the commentary, man. Me and Larry Frank Jr., man. Thank you guys, man. We just wanted to give everybody a chance to vent. We didn't do nothing after the game this past weekend. I was mad as hell. I didn't want to do anything. I told Larry Frank I wasn't going on, man. So we was just gonna wait till Monday, man. So Friday night, we will be back for the hype show. Larry Frank, I'm gonna let you give your departing words and we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah, man. I just want to once again shout out all the callers. Thank you guys for calling in, representing everybody in the chat. Thank you again. Just thanks for following this movement known as UTALK, man. And hey, God willing, we'll see you Friday.
Most definitely, man. Hey, man, I want to shout out to everybody that I had the opportunity to meet, man. That whenever I first started doing this, man, it was cool to talk to everybody and over the phone when they were calling in to text, man. But it was also more cool, man, to meet them in person, man. Braden Davis and J.R. Hayes, Harold, Tim. I got to kick it with Eric Brown, man. All of you guys, man, just down to earth dudes, man, and I appreciate you guys. You know, man, just being with the show and showing love, man, from day one. Shout out to George Diaz, Cuban Kane, Quella, What It Do, Josh Ayers, man, all of you guys, Danielle Carroll, Benny Barrett. You know what I'm saying? I don't do the shout outs like I used to, man. I'm going to start back doing them here pretty soon. It take a lot of time, but you know I love all of you guys, man. Corey, Liberty City boy, What It Do, man? That's my guy, man. Shout out to you too, man, and your lovely wife, man. I appreciate the support from all of you guys, man. So we're going to get out of here tonight. We're coming back on Friday with the hype show. Y'all know what it is, man. So y'all know how we start every show. And you know how we end every show. It ain't no us. Without you, baby. And we out. Everybody have a safe week, man. Go Canes, man.
It's UTALK, baby.